Hello? Shantae? Hey, I can't hear you. I mean, you can stay muted if you want to, but just if you want to chime in, unmute yourself. Look how cute you are.
Right. It's been so fun to be outside, but I'm like, I don't want to get all sunburned.
Yeah, no, seriously. Are you just like hanging out in the sunshine or what are you doing?
Yes, I'm getting some vitamin D out here in the backyard because, I'm tired of the
Oh,
outdoors.
I love it.
Thank you. How have you been?
I'm good. Just getting,
Good.
adjusted to the new norm.
I know. It's so bizarre.
So bizarre. I had to go to the chiropractor today because my back and my neck is so jacked up from sitting now all day long.
I know.
It's crazy. I need to get like a new chair. I've just been sitting at my dining table.
I know. That's what my husband's been doing, and he's all jacked up too. And I'm like, babe, let's just go to the office and steal your chair for a little while. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, no problem. No big deal.
Yeah.
But it's crazy how that can even just make such a big difference. I don't know. I wish I could Zoom call from my bed. That would be awesome.
Yes. I know. I just would need to clean my room.
Yeah, right? Yeah, my house has never, ever been this clean before, I don't think.
Oh, man.
Cleaning
I
all
am
the
like,
time.
okay. Yeah. I'm like, all right, kids, we're going to clean the bathrooms and sweep the floors. And they're like, what? I'm like, yep.
And the baseboards too.
Yeah. I'm like, and the shutters, like it's all getting done.
Oh, I wish I had, I would say that's probably the one reason why I want to have kids is so I can just put them to work. Do everything that I don't want to do.
Yeah. Benson's like, I swear you had me just so that you could use me as your slave. I'm like, yeah.
Yep. Did myself a favor.
It's so funny. Awesome.
Is your husband holding up okay?
Yeah, he's doing good, and he's in the medical industry, so he works with traveling nurses, so it's just been crazy busy.
Yeah. Does he work from home or?
Not usually, but yeah, he's been home since the beginning before most everyone else shut down there. They closed everything down and sent everyone home with their computers, so.
Well, I'm glad that he's hanging in there.
I know, he's such a champ. He makes me like, I'm like, okay, if you're going to get up and work today, I'm going to get up and work today.
Yeah. Amen to that.
Pretty wild, but man, it's hard. Like today I was like, okay, I'm gonna go in and make some calls, and then grandma brought over like Easter baskets and left them on the porch, and they have all those stupid whistles and crap in there, and they're out there whistling, and I'm like, I can't concentrate.
Stupid whistles and crap.
I know. Oh, I hate all that little crap.
Yeah, right? Oh.
Yeah.
Hi guys, hi Lori. I hope you're feeling okay. Oh, I can't hear you. It automatically mutes you, but I'm gonna give us a couple more minutes just to let people come on. If that's okay. Tracy, hi. You can't hear me? Are you on Bluetooth on your car? Try maybe turning Bluetooth off. Oh, she can't hear me. I guess it doesn't help. Lori, I still can't hear you either. The system automatically mutes everybody, so just so you know. Okay. I'm just gonna give it a couple more minutes, let some more people roll in. Nick, hi. Okay, we'll do one more minute.
Do you and your team need to work remotely?
Let's see who we got here. Okay, maybe we'll just get started. I don't want you guys to have to wait any longer. Should we do the dang thing? All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Can you guys see this now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I want to first start with just a funny video. This is like one of my absolute favorites. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it's a lady on Zoom, and she hasn't like really figured out that the camera was on, and so she like goes to the bathroom while her camera's on.
We can never get involved with a former client ever, regardless of how long it's been, versus like some other professions, say a few years or whatever. I think it really depends on just like the ethical standards of the profession. And in reality, I've heard that social work kind of has very high standards and like good standards in terms of things, and that oftentimes people don't, like people of other professions don't have. What happened?
I saw nothing.
You guys, it's freaking hilarious. This is probably the child coming out of me, but make sure that you know if your Zoom camera is on or not. Oh, man. Okay. Well, thanks guys for coming. You guys are just the best. We've broken out everybody into different groups based off of production tiers. And our group is a little bit unique because Emily and I work specifically with the top 20% producers. But I've also included any team member that's on a team here. So we kind of can get some good perspectives from like both ends of the spectrum. But I really want to put our heads together, especially right now, to see how we can help you stay relevant and keep your business moving forward and answer any questions that you need, because really the agents that adopt technology right now and the agents that double down on their business are the ones that are going to come out on top. Because a lot of what I'm hearing and experiencing is a lot of agents are saying that they're just going to let it pass, you know, take this time to be with their family. And I do think that's important. I think at the same time we have to be consistent with our activities and make sure that
thank you.
Moving forward. What, Christy?
Sorry, I'm unmuting.
Oh, it's okay.
Drive through.
Okay, so I really want to use this as a time for us to like put our heads together and mastermind. And thank you to everybody who filled out the questionnaire that I sent out. So I kind of built today around what was mostly in the answers that I got from you guys on that questionnaire. But moving forward, I want to brainstorm different things that we're looking for and that we want, and you know how we can progress. So I have a couple things that I want to remind you guys about, you know, to help us through the next couple of months or so. Has anybody signed up for Bold? Or do you guys have any questions on that? Is anybody planning on going to Bold?
I think Tracy was going to sign up. She's trying to log in right now, but that's all I know.
Okay. I wanted to mention this to you guys because originally they were capping it out to a certain amount of attendees, but now they've taken away the cap, so as many people can go as they want to go. And normally Bold is $7.99, but this time we're only doing $99. And this is across the board. It's not for just KW agents. Anybody can come. And we're just wanting to really get together and collaborate and make it through these crazy, bizarre times together. So I definitely think that's something to put into consideration in your business plan for probably the next 90 days. Do you guys have any questions on Bold? Okay, I don't know if you guys are talking, just make sure you're unmuted. Okay, and then I don't know if you guys have heard of the book Shift by Gary Keller. This is essentially like just like the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, but this was built for shifting your business in a shifting market. So we're offering free copies to any agent who wants a copy, and it's a PDF version, so I can email it over to you if you prefer that. So if you guys are interested in that, I definitely think this is a great tool to put in your toolbox. So let me know if you want a copy. I can get one emailed over to you. I'll also send a recap email of what we go over today, and I'll include it in there as well, but feel free to share it with whoever needs it. Okay, so this is kind of a brain dump. Wanted to get a good game plan put together for our meetings moving forward. Okay, sorry, Lori was having some problems. So the items on the left are the items that I got on the questionnaire that you guys filled out. I really want to maximize on the time that we have together. So some feedback that I got or input is to go over ideas, stats, and lingo, to share what has worked in the past, to share our marketing and our systems, and how to stay relevant with or without COVID. And then as I was kind of going through the curriculum and putting my thoughts together, I made a couple more notes on the right-hand side. I was wondering if you guys think it would be of value to do a book club. Maybe, you know, every week when we do get together, we can chat on it for 10 minutes or have our conversation be geared around that. And then some topics moving forward: how to bulletproof the transaction. You know, if your clients are under contract, how to get them to close, handling buyer and seller objections and concerns, holding effective virtual open houses, nurturing your SOI, how to comfort your clients right now, how to cut your expenses, things like that. What are your guys' thoughts on this? I mean, do you have anything you want to add? Anything, you know, what are your thoughts on some of those suggestions? If we could prioritize things, what would be the most important things that you'd want to start with now?
Anything.
Anything? Do any of those stand out to you guys? I think a lot of us on here, SOI is a huge source of our business. And that's what I'm going to kind of focus on and go over today, is your SOI. Okay. Well, be thinking about it and let me know. I mean, I want, again, to make this a collaborative effort, and I want us to share. So let me know if you come across anything, if you have any questions with best practices and things like that.
Can I ask a question, Eden?
Of course you can.
Okay, so I was thinking one thing that I want to do is kind of redo my yearly marketing plan.
Okay.
So I just feel like there's probably some things that I would want to do differently from how I was planning 2020 looking to how it's going to look now. And so I'm just like, I don't know where to, trying to figure out, I guess, what other people are doing for their marketing plans. Are we doubling down on email? I don't know. I just don't know exactly what changes to make. So that's probably more personal, but I'd be interested to see what everyone else is doing.
For sure. No, I love that. And I'm glad that you brought that up. I don't know if you guys have heard of the 135 business plan or the 411 tool for the business plan. But I'm spending some time with agents to go through and reassess your business plan, especially over the next 90 days. You know, there's some things that probably need to be readdressed or hone in on different topics specifically. Would you guys rather we can do like a one-on-one Zoom call sometime this week? So like Nick, for example, we could pull out your business plan and figure out what we're going to implement. And then on Friday, we can go over, you know, what we all learned or implemented. Or would you rather just have that be our training for next week as a group? Do you have a preference between one-on-ones or a group? Nick, maybe?
I don't know. I think probably I think it might be helpful as a group, just because we can all kind of steal each other's ideas.
Okay.
I mean, I think that would be kind of interesting, but.
Okay. I think it's a great idea.
I'm down for whatever. And you're only one gal, so I think it'd be much easier if we could all kind of do it together, but.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
Well, that's another thing too, is, you know, this is my personal focus group, and so I want to have continued one-on-ones with you guys, and just make sure like your business is taken care of, and you know you have what you need. So, okay. Well, let's do the dang thing. Let's plan on having that be our session for Friday. Just so you guys know, is we'll go over our business plans and best practices for marketing and staying relevant right now. So be thinking about this week. And I'll do some research and see what other people are doing as well. Okay, so as a region, we just had a meeting on Monday, and they shared with us some notes of a meeting that our regional manager had with Gary Keller. And these are some of the notes that he mentioned, and some things that Gary really stressed was what we're experiencing right now. It hasn't really even started yet. We haven't even gotten to the worst of it. And Gary's actually predicting a 30% unemployment rate across the nation, which is huge. I mean, and the thing with Gary Keller is he's such a numbers-driven person. He never lets him down, you know? So I think this is the point where we need to really establish and cement our relationships with our people to make sure that they're taken care of. Gary thinks that only 10% of our people are thinking the right way. I mean, what do you guys think? I feel like some people are seeing that, you know, this is a big deal, that this is going to have a huge impact on our economy. And some people are thinking that it's going to blow over in a couple weeks. So what is your opinion? I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being this is just temporary, it's going to blow over in a couple weeks, or 10 meaning we're going into a second Great Depression. I mean, where do you guys rank? What are your opinions?
I think that we're about a 7. Like, I think this is way bigger than everyone thinks it is. And I just think the better planning we can do for it, the better we're going to be. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, if it ends up being like a 3 or a 4, then hooray. But I really, the way this is sweeping the nation, my husband's in the medical industry, and he was saying, you know, what they're worried about right now is the second wave. Like, I think we're all just so excited to get done with it. And he's like, the problem is that there's going to be a second wave where we're going to get everyone healthy, and they're going to get better, and then it's going to kind of recontaminate everyone. And so I think there's a lot of potential for this to get really kind of scary.
Yeah, especially with jobs and everything right now, you know, on the line. It's super like uncertain. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You guys have any other thoughts? Scale of 1 to 10.
Well, we're getting a lot of questions from our clients, like, what are you predicting? What do you see? And I'm trying to be the Pollyanna, but nobody has that crystal ball, and everyone's wondering if this is the time to be buying or be selling. And I'm trying to give the optimistic side of it. Mm-hmm. But I feel like there's a lot of liability in this, and it's hard to guide someone unknowingly, right? Like, I'm trying to say, okay, this is the way we've always worked. This is the safety nets that we're doing, but nobody knows what the future is going to bring. And it's so hard to feel like you're kind of guaranteeing that and letting someone work through a process and then setting them up for failure. Mm-hmm. How are you guys handling those questions from your clients?
Really, I think, you know, from our standpoint, we just have to be real, and we have to be honest. And, you know, yes, we are running a business, but like you said, you know, we have a fiduciary duty to our clients. And, you know, we believe that every market has an opportunity. We just have to shift with it and figure out what that opportunity is. So as of right now, I mean, it is a huge opportunity for investors. You know, it's a great time for them to come in. And move up buyers are a big topic as well. People who, you know, want to sell from a townhome and go to a single family, or if they need a bigger garage because of the interest rates. And, you know, we're not going to know what happens with home values. And so it's just kind of a double-edged sword at that time. But for sell by owners, I think are a great opportunity, you guys, because obviously they've raised their hand and they want to sell, they have motivation, but you know, if we're experiencing what we're experiencing, they're probably not getting anything, you know?
Does anyone have it? I'm sorry, Eden.
No, go ahead.
I was just wondering if anyone had any comments from the lending world, because I have had a couple lenders tell their clients, nope, you need to wait, The interest rates are at 4.25%, and that's the best I can do. And I'm like, that's still a great rate. Why are you telling people that? Are you guys experiencing that as well?
My lender isn't telling me anything. My lender's telling me that he can't figure it out because everything's changing so fast. Mm-hmm. And he's with a bank, so he's kind of got he's able to lend a lot easier than some like the brokerages, right? Because they're lending on their own money. And he said even his guidelines daily, outside of what the feds are doing, they don't know what they're doing either. So there seems, with my two lenders that I talked to, they both seem really uncertain about what's going on. But they're telling people to buy still because they can't beat the interest rates that they're getting them. So
Yeah.
I mean, we've heard that they're kind of saying if you're a risky buyer, they're holding off on those. But people who have money and good credit and they're kind of more of those stable buyers, and it looks like their industry is going to stay stable. But I did have a lender say, "Oh, the rates are at 4.25. I'd wait. I wouldn't do anything." And I just can't understand that mentality. But maybe I'm not talking to enough people.
Nick, I know that you're close with Brock. I mean, have you talked with Brock at all? Do you have anything there? I don't know if we lost him or not. I could see his video, but I can't see it anymore.
I can hear you.
Oh, hi. Okay, sorry. We're back.
Oh, okay. Brock pretty much tells me that rates have dipped a little bit, but they're not as, I think the deal is that they're low now. They're just not as low as they were before. And I think because I talked to another lender that's really young. Brock's young, but he has been in it since before the crazy stuff went down last time. So I think he has a little better vision of it. But a lot of the young lenders out there are just like, oh, it'll come down again. It'll come down again. And I think there's a lot of optimism, but it's mostly because people don't have, like, they haven't had experience in it before. They don't really believe that we could be above 5%. Like,
Yeah.
they just can't imagine that. So I don't know, to be honest. I mean, Brock's still locking loans. He's getting really good deals on loans, to be honest. He locked an FHA at like 3.25 the other day, something like that. So right now I think it's go time, but yeah, it could change in the near future.
Yeah.
See, obviously that would have a huge impact on home values. So.
Right. Tracy, I don't know if that answers your question, but.
It actually makes me feel better to hear you say that. I've been hearing, I've been thinking, well, rates are constantly moving, and even 4.25 is good, but that's great to hear. Last week was 3.25. I'm a little frustrated that a lender would tell a great, strong buyer that, but it's hard when we're not all on the same page, and it's hard to get on the same page. And I think these poor lenders, it's true. I mean, there are regulations and guidelines. All of ours are changing, but I think theirs are changing exponentially quick. It's hard when you do so much work to cultivate a buyer and get them ready to go, and then your lender does something like that. And this lender isn't actually one of my preferred lenders. This is one that the buyer just got on their own and wants to work because they're good friends, and it's extremely frustrating. I just didn't know how you guys are combating some of that.
Sounds about right, pretty much. I heard secondhand from a lender that I talked to. He says, honestly, Eden's the greatest, because when she meets with buyers, she just says, man, you use my lender or you find another realtor, because I'm not dealing with whoever you met at the swap meet last weekend.
What? What are you saying?
That's what Brant told me. He's like, oh yeah, Eden just says, yeah, I don't work. He's like, I just work with my preferred lender. So if you want to work with the homeboy at the bank, that's fine, but I'm not dealing with it. So I don't know.
Oh, he's such a liar. He's so full of it.
But you know what, Eden? I do that in my buyer presentation. I require all of my buyers to get pre-approved with my lender. And I say, in the end, you can choose who you want, but I want to know with my lender that you're approved. Because if he tells you you are, then I know you are,
I like that.
Yeah. And they always end up getting pre-approved with him. And I bet 95% of them actually end up using him, and knock on wood, he's never failed me. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because, you have a standard to keep too.
Yeah. Well, really though, I don't do that. I don't know why Brant said that. But I do, but I kind of have the same thing, Lori. I think it kind of goes to the same concept that, that's what builders do. Builders have their preferred lenders, but they do it because the builder's familiar with your process, or the lender's familiar with your process, and you're familiar with the lender's process, right? So it just keeps things running smoothly, but I'm going to have to give him such a hard time about that, Nick.
Funny.
I already put it on Facebook, Eden, that's what you do.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
right? Don't throw me under the bus.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so kind of coming back to what Gary was saying, the two most important things that we should be doing right now is doubling down on our SOI, and we need to increase our value to them, and really stand out. Come out of the box and come from contribution, because cementing these relationships now are what's going to pay off, in the long term, especially. And the second thing is to cut your expenses. And I thought this could be a fun exercise for us to do, is figuring out a profit and loss statement, figuring out how we want to track our expenses and keep them as low as possible, right? Everything's negotiable, so if you can renegotiate your contract with Comcast or go through your credit cards account. There was an agent who has 3 different credit cards, and he realized that he has 3 separate Netflix subscriptions, 1 on each credit card. So even though, cross-referencing these numbers is such a pain, this is a great opportunity, I think, to make sure that we're spending our money wisely.
Was that you, Nick?
That was not me. No. No, the only thing I canceled this week I canceled a couple weeks ago, was Brivity. And I felt kind of bad doing it because I'm a big Brivity believer, but I was like, nope, I'm doing Command now. And they're like, yeah, don't you stay? And I'm just like, no. I listened to Gary Keller. If you can get Gary Keller to tell me that I need to keep my Brivity account, then I will keep it. Otherwise, it's gone.
What else have you guys cut? Anything like creative or anything that you've found that you didn't know you had subscriptions to or anything?
Well, I'm going to share my crazy little idea. So both my husband and I are working from home. And in the last 2 years, I finally got to buy my dream car. Girl. And well, I know, but guess what? Like, it's sitting in the garage. And I'm like, what? Like, what if I don't have to drive it for 6 months? So I think I might sell it and just have one car payment, save like, $1,000 a month between insurance and gas and car payments.
Yeah.
And then, I can turn around and buy another fun little car. I don't know if I'm going to do that, but I'm thinking about it.
Well, that's a great idea considering we're all working from home now. I mean, why do you need 2 cars, right?
Yeah. Super weird that I'm having that, because people who are like, I have a 1 car home. I'm like, how the French toast do you do that? But I'm like, right now, I think I could do that. So
that's a great idea. Okay, so let's kind of get into the meat and potatoes of everything now. I love this quote from Jason Abrams. He's one of the executives at Keller Williams International. He said, the mind share that we capture today through Zoom, phone, and social media will lead to the market share we will own on the other side of this. So I attended a really great virtual training that Keller Williams International did. And this was specifically geared around staying in touch with your SOI. And even though we're not connected very well, how can we stay connected virtually, right? So how, again, can you go deep with your relationships and come from contribution? So some of my favorite notes that I got from this is all we have to do, obviously, is just to change our plan. We're going to get the same results, but how is that going to happen, right? It's, again, shifting your business with the changes of the market. So they said going deep with your care calls to your SOI. And I thought that they were so creative with this. One of the main points that they talked about is that we need to meet them where they are, right? They're in a huge level of uncertainty themselves, and they don't know what the future holds. They don't know if they're going to have a job. So being just, super mindful of them and just asking them, how are you doing? What can I do for you? Can I go to Costco for you? How are the kids doing? Do they need some puzzles or, different small things like that? Small touches can make a huge difference. And what are things that you can do to just kind of brighten up their day? Can you go do a little pop by, right? Can you go give them a little Easter basket or a little care package, at-home care package, right? Because that's what's going to make them feel better and make sure that you're still a resource for them, right?
Is anybody sorry. Can I ask a question, Eden,
Yeah,
real
of
quick?
course.
Is anybody getting any pushback with, because I know somebody posted that they were doing door-to-door, which this is different than SOI, but somebody called the health department because they were concerned about that, or just like
Yeah.
different, like even with the mail, like I know the board is doing the letters, and I don't know, some people are very concerned even about the mail. I mean, the U.S. Postal Service is like a cesspool. So I don't know, are any of you guys concerned about that, or are you just pushing through? Because I do think that's important to reach out to SOI. It's just a weird concern to have.
Well, that agent that got reported, I think that they were just randomly putting flyers around a neighborhood. So it wasn't, SOI or anything in particular. And I think this was right at the peak of the fear of coronavirus. And this was right after the earthquake. So I think, emotions were just super high for a lot of people at the time. So for me, in my opinion, I think timing probably was just everything. But where the difference, I think, lies is with your SOI. That's something that will mean something to them, right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
What do you guys think about that? Like, are you comfortable dropping things off? Would you be comfortable with other people dropping things off? What are your personal opinions?
Yeah, like to be honest, I haven't dropped anything off to my SOI, but I did drop off, like the other day I dropped off stuff to my mom, my wife's mom, grandparents, all that stuff. And when I went, I just took like a thing of Lysol wipes and I wiped everything down. Like they were flowers, so I wiped off like the base, and then I wiped down the cards, which my wife was mad about because she made them so cute. And then I like wiped them down with stuff. But like we want to play it safe. So I was thinking if we did something like that for our SOI, and then like for my family members, I just texted them or called them and said, hey, left something on your porch. We could do the same thing with the SOI. We could just text them and say, hey, just so you know, I dropped something off on your porch. I Lysoled the crap out of it. You're welcome to Lysol it yourself. But just addressing it that we care about them and we don't want to bring them like a little germ. Like we want to keep them safe.
Yeah, that's what Emily actually did for me this morning. She dropped off a cute little Neater's Easter treat basket on my doorstep, and she just texted me and she was like, I left you a little Easter treat on your doorstep. And it just made me feel so warm and special and fuzzy. And honestly, like, I didn't think twice about germs or whatever, but I also trust Emily and your clients trust you. So.
Totally.
I took my client's toilet paper with a funny little card that says, I've got your back. Well, maybe not your backside. And
I love that so much.
I texted them all before I showed up. And if they were there, I just did the same thing Nick did. And I set it on the porch. And then I waited out in the car and we talked from the car to the door front for, 5 or 10 minutes. And some people really loved it. They were just like, I haven't talked to anybody else for like 8 days. It's been so, and so I think just that it's a roll of toilet paper. I mean, it's not that much. I guess that's liquid gold right now, but
No,
that's
I
funny.
totally agree. Yeah. And then Nick, you had your friend that does puzzles, right? What was his name?
His name's Brent Woolsey. He sells these puzzles. It's called Dowdle Folk Art Puzzles.
We just bought a bunch of those, me and my girlfriends last night. I was telling them about
Really?
Dowdle. Yeah. I delivered 2 of them to houses last night.
Oh, good work.
That's your friend?
No, well, he's my neighbor. I don't know him really from Adam, but I went to pick up some puzzles because my wife ordered like 30 of them. So I had to go fight the crowds. And so I met him. He's not responding to my Facebook messages at the moment, but I think he's a little inundated with orders. He said he sold like 800 just to our neighborhood within 2 or 3 days. So, but yeah, stuff like that would be great to drop off.
Yeah. So I wanted to make a point because this guy is local, and so you guys could, buy puzzles en masse, and I'm sure he'd be willing to work with you on price. But you said, Nick, he's selling them for like $11 a box or something like that, or I don't want to quote you on it, but
yeah, no, for my neighborhood, he sold them for $11, which but also like he did that on our neighborhood page, which my neighborhood has about 3,000 houses, so this is a large neighborhood.
Okay.
But and he said he wanted to expand it out to like the full Bluffdale. Like he wanted to put it on the Bluffdale social media pages. So I think once I get a hold of him, he's going to tell me he'll do it for $11 if you bought any quantity. I think they would do that deal. For
Nick,
him.
I want in on that because my girlfriend, seriously, we each spent like $200 last night. I've got like 15 dowdle puzzles in my closet. I would buy them for my clients in a heartbeat.
Oh, totally. Yeah, there's quite a few
Like,
of them.
I'm a raving fan. So yeah, that's a good idea too. Put a little sticker or something on it, and I like a fun saying like "I've got your back, not your backside" or whatever. Like I love those. Kind of make it fun, and
Yeah, I'll be here to put the pieces back together.
That's perfect. I love
Right?
it.
Yeah, but then that means that it's going to fall apart. Just say, "Are you puzzled about real estate? I'm here for you."
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a
We
good
don't
one.
want them to think the world's going to fall apart.
Yeah.
Right?
But
Yeah.
that's fun. Okay, and then the second thing that I learned on that training that I thought was so creative is one of the agents created a Facebook group, and they left it as an open group. It doesn't have to be private. So it could be public, but invite your SOI to it. Invite your friends and your family, like anybody that invite to that group. And have that group be dedicated to, support and community only. This isn't necessarily a place for you to promote your business. That's for your business page. But again, this is where you can invest in, their well-being and, helping them progress through. So some of the tips that they had is to make sure that you have great content because that's what's going to get the most engagement with the group. And so some of the schedules that they have and some of the suggestions that they had is to do a 5-day health challenge, do at-home workouts. I loved to host a virtual game, and they hosted virtual bingo. I thought that was such a great idea, and you could have a big prize in the pot. I put at-home workouts on there again. Where do you think my head's at, guys?
Not the same place as mine.
No. Me neither.
Yeah, have you guys seen those memes where one of them is like, you should be spending this time to learn a new language or invest in your new workout schedule? Or the other one's like, you should take this time to reset and relax. And I'm like so conflicted, like, what do I do?
Yeah.
They suggested to have live book readings or do live science experiments, get engagement with the kids. Give them something creative to do. And this website, parentsofkw.weebly.com, KW actually created this website for agents, who are parents specifically, but anybody. And every single day they're uploading different science projects or cool things that kids can do while they're home. They did one where they can make a fun music video, or they do live book readings, things like that. So I would use that website as a resource for ideas, if that's something you're wanting to do. One of the agents said that they do VIP deliveries and pop buys. So to their top 20% of clients, they did wine drop-offs in particular. So it's like, if you're at home lonely or you're going crazy, here's a glass of wine or something for you. But, again, you could do the puzzles, something along those lines. You don't have to do your whole SOI if you don't want to, but that definitely does stand out. But what are your guys' thoughts on kind of doing a fun group like that? Do you want to implement it? Do you guys have any other ideas for what we could do in there? Do you think it's a good idea? I think it's fun.
I think it's a really good idea.
I think it's super unique. People aren't doing that really, and again, I think that's just another way for you to cement those relationships. They also said to, as part of doing this, collaborate with small local businesses in helping them promote their business as well. So I think this is a great business to business network opportunity, where, if you do a bingo night, you could do an at-home plant night giveaway. Or if you're doing the at-home workouts, bring in a small, local gym owner and have the gym owner run the workout for that day. So get creative in seeing how we can help our community as well, because we have a lot of you know, people are wanting to come together right now, that they need a sense of community. And I think that will help give them buy-in to make a difference as well. So I think it's fun. You guys want to do it? Are you going to put together a Facebook page? Okay. So as you're staying in touch with them, they shared some helpful tools and tips for staying in contact with them, but then also making sure that you're contacting everybody without getting so overwhelmed. So they suggested an app called Hit 'em Up. And this is an app that I think it's super inexpensive, like $5 or something. But this is a mass texting app where you can do a mass text message, but you can format it to say, hey, Nick, how are you doing? I'm thinking about you. And I can send that same message to Lori, but it says, hey, Lori, I'm thinking about you. So it's just a quick load up everybody and send out the whole thing, but it puts their name in there. And the agent said that he sent probably 130 texts and he got into conversations with about 110 people. So it took him a couple days to, you know, finish those conversations and get through them. But he said it, you know, he could tell that it made a huge difference.
Does it come from your number?
Yes, it does.
It does?
That was the other thing.
Yeah, I like that it's coming from your own number. I was curious about that in Twilio. That's the one thing I didn't like about Twilio is it came from a different number.
Yeah.
And then I know Twilio goes into command. Is there a way to get Hit 'em Up to go into command?
No, Hit 'em Up is separate from that. Twilio is what we've partnered with, so their platform communicates with ours. I do know that they're working on the ability to sync up other providers, but that's not there yet. So
Which one do you think would be better? Because I'm really liking that it comes from your own number, and I really like that it's that mass text that's more custom.
yeah. So for me, I haven't used Twilio for that reason. You know, I think it's super killer that it talks to command, but I want it to be either my number or a local number. So I'm a little bit kind of in between because I've thought about either getting a second phone or a second phone number, one of them for business and one of them for personal, just to keep everything separate. So if you did get like a Google Voice number, for example, if you have like a number like that, then you can sync it up with Twilio, or you can get like a local number through Twilio, but you're going to have two separate numbers. So it's up to you on whether you want to do that. But for me right now, I would just do Hit 'em Up. You know, you could set that up today and send out your care text messages today, and it's coming from you. There's a second app that I wrote down that I just found out about. It's called Reach, REACH, and it's $4.99 a month, and it's unlimited. So maybe do some side-by-side comparison on Hit 'em Up and Reach. But I know Hit 'em Up, and I think it's great. And then also set up a follow-up plan so they know that you really care. It's not just like a one-and-done type thing. So, you know, you could have a reminder. Look at my cat. You could put a reminder in your phone or something to text them again the next week to say, you know, hey, you know, a week has already gone by. How are the kids doing? You know, how is this going? Follow up with your conversation. And then bring joy to their lives. One of the agents said that there was one day that he was super bored, so he put on one of those big blow-up dinosaur costumes, and he went to Walmart just as a joke for like the whole 6 foot, you know, radius thing. And he had one of his friends go with him and record videos of people's reaction and of him just like walking around Walmart. And he said that he got 11,000 views on that one video.
Wow.
So come up with like creative things and, you know, get comfortable with being on video because this is us now, right? So I would put as a homework item, if you guys haven't already, to create a YouTube channel. And it's super easy, super simple. It syncs with your Google account. But definitely let's start putting content together to make some videos and get some good exposure to your YouTube. Okay. And then again, this is coming back to making people feel comfortable. So some tips that they offered is at your listings, offer hand sanitizer. You know, you can have it set up like right as they walk into the door at the front entry. Have a bottle of hand sanitizer or Clorox wipes or Lysol or something there to make them feel like you're doing your due diligence to protect everybody. An agent at the office went to Office Depot and got sticky paper, like sticky label paper, and printed his logo on there, you know, courtesy of Eden Wardle with whatever on there. And then he stuck it to the big hand sanitizer bottle. So it was a great branding opportunity for him as well. And then I would suggest also carry around a hand sanitizer with you to your showings. That or provide gloves was a great option that they had. If you can have, you know, latex gloves and offer those to your buyers, you know, you're extending protecting them as well. And then when you're going on listing appointments, or if you're doing photography, or if you're doing a virtual tour, wear a face mask when you're at the showings, because that's showing your sellers and your clients again that you're taking as many precautions as you can. Okay. Okay. So I would say the majority of the training that we watched, it was all that mindset. You know, this is a time where we need to really be hyper self-aware of where our mentality is and how we can invest in our own well-being since everything has changed, right? And I watched a really cool TED Talk that I'll share with you guys, but he said that 90% of your world is determined by the way your brain processes your perspective of your surroundings. That's a typo. And so his point by saying that is your surroundings or what's happening around you isn't necessarily the factor of, you know, your mentality. It's how you perceive it, right? So if you're going to perceive things naturally in a positive light, then it's going to be great. If you're a natural pessimist, then, you know, you might go into the negative side of things. So how do we rewire your brain to see things positively, right? So Nick, I'm glad that you brought up the business planning and reassessing everything, because this part is kind of where I had that on my mind. And I want us to put, again, together a 90-day plan and how we're going to come out on top, especially during the third and fourth quarters. Like, anything that we do today is going to show up 90 days from now, which is why we have to hunker down and double and triple down on what we're doing. Part of the video that I watched, he talked about why people don't accomplish their goals, and he called it the 3 F's. One is fear, and I love this for myself personally, is because fear is typically driven by you not having the right answer, right? Or if you're not going to make a call, what are you worried about? It typically comes down to the answers. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
So he said with being fear-based, or if there's something you're being fearful of, notice that and acknowledge it. And he said, write down the questions that you have of that fear. What question is making you fearful, or what do you feel like you don't have the answer to? So, you know, acknowledge it, write it down, and then get the answer to whatever that question is. So as far as investing into your own self-development and your confidence, for me, that really just, you know, struck my soul. And I think that's a great way to build up your confidence, but also build up your ability in your professionalism. Did somebody say something? No?
Oh, sorry, my phone rang, so I didn't know that's what.
And then the second F was financials. How are you spending your money? Are you tracking your money? Do you have a good relationship with your finances, right? And I think this is interesting because we're having so many conversations about cutting your expenses. And then fatigue. People get a lot of fatigue, especially if they're setting big goals, right? And I saw an article that Zoom fatigue is actually a thing, you guys. Did you know that? Have you been feeling that at all? Are you guys doing a lot of Zoom meetings?
Yes,
Oh
I
my
agree.
God. I am burnt out. Like 5 or 6 rolls around and I am toast. I can't believe it. But I think it's just because we have to be on all the time, right? It's totally different than being in person. And so, especially right now, what is our energy plan? How are we going to keep our energy levels high, but also keep our mindset positive and clear? So I wanted to remind you guys about the Millionaire Real Estate Agent Energy Plan. Have you guys seen this? It's in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. But this is, and it's really interesting because clearly this is in the book, but I've actually seen this in a lot of different realms. So, I mean, I know that this is frequent and this is what works. So every single day, this is your 5-point energy plan. The first one is to meditate and pray for investing into your spiritual energy. And the power of meditation and prayer is really to let the whole, craziness of the day, to stop that, to stop being, just in the normal loop of everything, to listen to yourself, listen to your brain, and just, kind of recenter with everything, especially right now. The second one is to exercise and eat for your physical energy. And so I think this is probably why I did the exercise twice on that one slide, because it's really interesting for me. Like, even though sometimes I hate running, you actually do have a lot more energy after the fact. Like, after you work out, it's a really interesting balance, I think. But, and eating with everybody wanting to just binge eat from their fridge right now is awful. So maybe create like an accountability log. There's an app, I'm gonna have to remember what it's called, but you can create a schedule for your food, start tracking what you're eating, and you can share that app with your friends so your friends can watch what you're eating as well, to hold you accountable. The third one is to hug, kiss, and laugh for your emotional energy. And one thing that stood out to me is Emily implemented this energy plan into her daily life. And she says when she wakes up every single morning, the very first thing that she does is she goes and lays down with her kids and gives them kisses and snuggles with them and talks with them about their day. She says that's the only thing that she does first thing in the morning. And if she doesn't do it, then her day is ultimately thrown off, right? So how are you going to be intentional and stop the world for a second and pay attention to your spouse or your kids or the people that you have in your life? I know that Gary Keller, his thing is with this is when he gets home, he doesn't do anything when he walks through the door except for find his wife and give her a kiss. Like, that's it. So, so be really intentional, with that, especially because these are the relationships in our lives. The fourth one is to plan and calendar for your mental energy. I actually have a planner, like a paper planner. It goes with me everywhere. But it's really nice just to have this in front of you to get everything out of your head and have it down on paper. But I always cross-reference it with my Google Calendar because that's my notifications, right? So I would suggest getting a planner because it does make a huge difference. Believe it or not, they do have real estate specific planners that you can buy as well that track your calls that you've made that day, your contacts that you've made that day. So as far as having business conversations, it helps with your tracking there. And then the fifth one is to lead generate for your business energy every day. I know right now it's a little bit different. So I think it's, again, standing out with your SOI, but where's your market of opportunity, right? Is it FSBOs? Is it move up buyers? What does that look like for you guys? Do you guys have any thoughts there? Is there anything that you do, every day that go with these things that we can mastermind or suggest? No, we're just all tired. Okay, so I wrote a little note here. Now that we're running our businesses virtually, we need to be mindful about separating our workspace from our home space. Because if we're having at-home offices or if we have our computers posted up on the dining table, right? How are we able to separate when we're not working compared to when we are working, right? Like, how do we shift being in that mode? Lori, did you have something?
So you've seen my shirt that says keep calm and let me get your house sold, right?
Yes. Yep.
So that has been my work shirt. Like, my kids know that if I'm wearing that, they have to treat me like I'm not here. And then this one, see, it says love.
Oh, I love it.
That's when they know So I tried it a couple of times this week, and I actually physically came in after I was done working, came in, changed my shirt, and went back out. And like it mentally recharged me too, and just made me go, okay, I've washed off my work day and I'm back to being a mom. I used to have to, like, for the first probably 8 years, I worked from home, and I think that is harder by far than working at an office. And I actually made an open and closed sign on where I was working. So at that time I had an office, but then later I moved and I just had a desk in a room, and I would put that paper up on the wall and then I'd flip it over, and I had truly office times. And it kind of mentally helps you set your working time too, because otherwise your house just feels like your office now.
Yeah. No, I love that. It's, you know, like, it's like what you said, like, what's that switch? How, like, where's the off button, and how do you make that firm, you know? How have you guys, how else have you guys been doing at home, running things from home now? Has it been a hard adjustment, or how are you managing your time? Nick, is Asia still loving you just as much?
Oh yeah, always. I was thinking, because I'm legit doing this Zoom on my bed, and I was like, I wonder if I was like, I bet they already know that I'm on a bed, and then I'm like, maybe they think I have this giant, like, eclectic chair.
Yeah. That would be like the best chair ever.
I want one now. But no, I've done pretty well because I have a pretty good home office, but I just ripped out, it had carpet, and so I'm replacing it with laminate floor to match the rest of my house. So it's out of commission right now, so it's very tricky. But I've been pretty good. I don't know. I just go in there. Asia has a lot of homework, so she goes and sits at the one desk and does her homework, and then I do my other work. But truthfully, I've had issues with my dogs because my dogs will bark at random stuff. So a lot of times when I'm talking to clients, I just walk around my house or around my neighborhood, and just because I would be mortified if my dog started barking when I was talking to a client. So
yeah. It's kind of funny now because it's just like, I think everybody understands at this point, like, we're all doing the best that we can, but I like that idea of walking around your neighborhood, like, while you're working, get some sunshine, but also get some steps in too.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you guys know that you can get the most expensive bike at Walmart right now is like $120? So
it's $225. We bought it yesterday.
Oh, just kidding, $225. The person who told me that, it didn't, like, probably like went when everybody bought the bikes, but $225, okay.
Well, I had to buy one. My husband's 6'4", so we had to buy the biggest one.
Yeah. But that's been a fun, like, family activity that, you know, I've heard of a lot of people doing is, you know, take some time at the end of the day and go on a bike ride, go ride around Daybreak Lake or, you know, whatever. But the kids have been absolutely loving that. So I think that's a lot of fun.
I know Emily's pictures of her and her kids on their bikes all around town they're pretty cute.
I don't want, you guys know I don't want kids, but I will, like, kidnap her kids any day. I love them so much. Okay, and then lastly, I wanted to leave you guys with this awesome TED Talk that I watched actually this morning. It's only about 12 minutes long, but I would 100% recommend that you do this or you watch it. It's about a researcher that was researching some of the people at Stanford. But he's the one that quoted, it's the way that you perceive your world that bases your mindset on. It's not, you know, what's happening to you in the world. And he said, these are the 5 ways that we can literally rewire our brain to naturally see circumstances as positive. So the 5 things were, the first one is 3 gratitudes. Write down at least 3 things that you are grateful for the previous day, actually, not in that present, but the previous day. Because what that does for you, it actually helps you to relive that experience. And again, you know, really to kind of dig a deeper meaning for that. And then journal every single day. And that would be like your affirmations and your gratitudes for that specific day. The third one, again, is to exercise. The fourth one, to meditate. And my personal favorite one that I thought was so creative is to do one random act of kindness every single day. Because while you're in the act of doing something like that, you can't feel sad. You can't feel negative. Like, this is something that not only fulfills you, but you're passing that along to other people as well. Last week, somebody just dropped off a Beans and Brews coffee on my front doorstep. So if you're close to a family or friend's house, go drop off a coffee, you know, buy them a puzzle, different things like that. So I would definitely go watch that. I'll include the link on my follow-up email that I'll send out to you guys. But yeah,
Hey, Eden,
what's that?
my daughter and I started doing 2 of those back in, I think it was October. I'm going to even show you. Right next to my bed. Anyway, we have a little unicorn book, and we do that. We do the 3 gratitudes. We do the random act of kindness. And then I started this with her because she's a 5th grade girl. I would have her write down one thing that she liked about herself that day.
Oh, I love that.
And it's really kind of changed the way we think about things. And even like the random act of kindness, it doesn't have to be like big or anything, but if you have kids, it really helps their mental processing of themselves. And for the first couple of days, it was hard for her to come up with good things about herself. She's like, this is hard, Mom. And I'm like, I know, because sometimes it's really easy to tell everybody else what they're awesome at, but telling yourself what you were good at sometimes is really hard. And I think that's important at this time too, because this is a hard world we're going to have to navigate, but we got to remember what we do well.
Yeah, totally agree with that. That's awesome. So what are your guys' ahas? I mean, do you have anything that you're going to implement this week? I know that today was more of a mindset, kind of touching base, putting together a game plan type thing, but what are your guys' thoughts? Anything that you liked? Are you any thoughts for implementations this week?
I like the text thing a lot.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I thought that was pretty killer.
I'm really grateful that you put this together, because I know I miss my neighbor at the office. Nick. And I think getting
we're inseparable.
from what?
We're inseparable.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's hard going through this without having a little bit of, kick back and forth and conversation between other people. You can watch Zoom all day long, but to interact and get other people's ideas, it always helps. So I appreciate you getting this together.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Our group has about 25 people in the group, so I don't know if it's just Zoom fatigue for everybody today, but we're definitely going to have a bigger group, so some more people chiming in. But Christy, I do think as well, just so you guys know, with that texting app, I think you can actually schedule out your text messages as well.
I downloaded it and it said that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
So
it gives you a 9-day free trial.
Sweet. And how much is it?
I don't know. It's still, for me, it says 9-day free trial. So Eden, what'd you say, about $5?
I think it was said $5 a month, but don't quote me on that.
Quoted already on Facebook.
Do you have to pick your whole contact list, or can you pick and choose who you want to send it to?
You can pick and choose.
Cool.
Okay. Sweet, guys. Well, anything else you want to add or share? I want to definitely get together this week. Let's definitely stay in touch.
So
I really like the dialogue around the pop buys, because I've been dying to do a pop buy, and it's just been so back and forth. Christy and I have talked about doing kind of a upbeat video to our clients and talking about our perspective. And then today we kiboshed it because we're like, well, people are interpreting things so different right now, and we want to be respectful. This has just been extremely hard to know how to communicate to the masses.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I don't know. But this has been good, and a good dialogue to get your guys' perspectives.
I don't think you should kibosh it. I think you should do it and just be super transparent. Just be like, we want to bring the latest and greatest to you. We'll keep you up to date. And you can say, we're going to come every day or once a week, and, or reach out to us if you have specific questions. But I think you should just be in front of your people and just, you know, just be like, we all wish we had a crystal ball, but you know, history tells us this, and this is what we're hearing from lenders today. I just think it's better. Don't you guys think, to just kind of be out in front of your people and just be super transparent, but still be the professional?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Get
I
on
think
there,
like
Christy.
long term, when we talk about the market, if you always talk long term, like that's pretty much a guarantee that you're going to be right. Like long term values are going to be up. Long term real estate is a great investment. So, and that's something that I think I've done pretty well over the last few years. Is I've never said, "Oh, buy a house because it's going to go up 12% every year till the end of time." It's like it's a long term deal. And so if you buy real estate now, it'll be worth more in the future. In the next 6 months, we really don't know. But at least if you look at it as a long-term investment and help people build up their real estate portfolios, you can't really lose. I mean, they're not going to get a bad deal regardless.
I like that. That's a simple way. I'm going to add that to my vocabulary. Thank you.
You know, a lot of people, when they ask me, well, what's going on in the marketplace and everything like that, kind of going along yours, Nick, I say, you know what? We always need roofs over our head. There will always be a market for housing. It'll just depend on what wave we're riding at that time. But there's always going to be buyers and there's always going to be sellers.
100%.
Cool.
Sweet. Okay. Well, real quick, how does 3 o'clock on Fridays work for you guys? I had a couple of people say that it's a little bit late. It doesn't work very well on a Friday. Are you guys good with 3? You want to keep it with 3, or do you want to do like 11 on Fridays?
I'm not sure what a
About
Friday
11.
is.
What's that?
I'm not sure what a Friday is at this point.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We don't even have Fridays in this business.
The only reason I like it a little bit earlier is because I am trying to wind down my day and be more present with my family, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to kick them off all of their devices too. And so I'm like, oh, just kidding. Now I'm on all these calls. So for me, I would like it earlier, but I love this and I'll do what the masses do.
Me too.
I agree. Are you guys good? I'll send you a calendar invite update, but are you good to do 11s on Fridays?
Yeah.
Okay.
As of right now, my kids' schedule with school always changes, but I'll make it work.
Well, and I am recording this, and I'm going to record all of them. And every meeting, I'll send out a recap, so we'll keep you in the loop as much as we can. But
Oh, good. They can see my drive-through fiasco. Okay.
Okay, well, I just love you guys. Let me know if you need anything. But thank you so much for coming. I hope it was valuable.
Thanks, guys.
Jen.
Thank you.
Talk to you later. Have a good
Awesome.
weekend.
Bye.
Bye.